So Apple just released their 27-inch iMac with a 5K display. What does that mean for all of us today? And why is that important? I'm definitely not an advocate for just going out and buying technology simply because it's new. Things look good. Things do improve the quality of whatever you're creating. If you're creating sound, if you're creating video, if you're creating pictures, or if you're creating, I don't know, if you're a writer. The improvement of technology should improve the quality of the work. But I don't believe we should just go out and buy. I don't believe we should just go out and buy stuff just because it's new. So what is 5K? Well, 5K is the measurement or the dimensions of not just the screen, but the pixels. And pixels are the really small dots that make up the images that we see on our televisions, well, on our flat screen televisions and on our monitors. And the more pixels you have, actually the more detail and clarity you have. So for example, I don't know if you remember those old Nintendo games back in the 80s, or if you don't know Nintendo, if you look at, let's see, on YouTube, when you look on YouTube at the bottom of your player on the video, you see a resolution chart all the way to the right. It says 240, 360, 480, 720, 1080, so on and so forth. So those are actually measurements of how much pieces of information is on the screen. So that's the same type of thing we're dealing with. And 5K is not like 1080p is 1920. That's 1920 pixels across. And then 1080 is the height, which is 10,000, which is 1080, basically 1080. 5K is actually 5120 by 2880. So that's supposed to be 5 times the resolution of 1080p. I was actually having a conversation yesterday with someone, and they were saying, "Why do I need such a high resolution screen?" And you don't. That's the reality of it. But if you're creating 5K content or even 4K content, and you want to distribute this to the masses, it would be good to have a monitor that you can actually see what you recorded at its full resolution. And that's why a lot of times you'll see graphic designers using huge monitors, because they need to see as much as possible of what they're creating. If they're going to print it, they need to see it as large as possible, not on a small cellular phone. And it helps them, see clearer what is being worked on or what's being created. So a 5K monitor can help certain people. Now, does 5K make 4K, which is actually not the previous generation, but that was actually the last resolution we were told about, which is 4,000, which is 3840 by, I believe, let's see here, 3K resolution. Yes, it's actually not 3K, 4K. 4K is 3840, yes, by 2160. So it's not the actual height is not that much difference from 5K. But that was the last set of monitors and devices we had available. They're not obsolete, and 5K doesn't make it obsolete. So what does 5K actually do? 5K just gives us more. We can actually see our 4K content at 100%, and you can see the 100% too on your 4K monitor. But 5K will give you a little bit more room to view that content. Doesn't make 4K obsolete. Only things that are obsolete are things that actually are become more of a hindrance than progress. For example, a horse and cart, horse buggy that we had back in the 1800s, and so on and so forth. Floppy disk. A floppy disk would take more time to transfer, let's say 2 megs of data than a USB drive. So there's just things that are just proper improvements, and it just makes the old technology useless. So that's why I would say it doesn't make it obsolete. Now, is Apple the first to reach 5K resolution? No, I would say they're not. There's actually a Dell monitor right now. Actually, it's gonna be coming out. I look at B&H right now, and it's not even available. It's the UP2715K. It's a 27-inch monitor with the resolution of the iMac. So Dell had this. This was announced some months ago. It's still not available. So if Apple gets theirs to stock right away, then I guess they will be the first to get it into the consumer's hands. But Dell had this monitor before, but this is just a screen, and they're asking. It's probably going to be over $3,000. So Apple didn't remove all the other 27-inch iMacs. They left them there, and they just added a new one to the lineup, which has a 5K resolution. So you go to the website, you see that it scrolls out and gives you the details you would basically see on a 5K display. So it's pretty much the same form factor. Nothing really has changed. The chin is still pretty, the bottom part of the Mac where the logo is still pretty thick. Not that it's bad. It just hasn't been a massive redesign. The pixels have been redesigned, and the display has been redesigned. But overall, the machine is pretty much the same. Let's look at the specifications here. So, yeah. So it's, like I said, 5120 by 2880. $24.99, which I believe is a steal, because let's think about it for a second. The two 4K monitors I knew about prior to this announcement, it's one by Asus. It's the Asus PQ321Q. So PQ321Q. It's a 4K display, but it's 32 inches, and that's going for right now $1,939 at Amazon.com. When it first came out, it was about $3,000. And then the Dell right now, $750. So roughly, just the screen alone is about over $1,000, close to $2,000. Not the Dell, but the Asus. But let's just talk about the 5 top things here. 5K's out. What does it do to 4K? Does it make 4K obsolete? I don't believe 5K will become a standard like 4K. To me, it's one of those in-between type of resolutions. Just like 3K never came out and became a standard. I don't think there's any 3K monitors. I may need to research that. You guys can let me know. So 5K does not make 4K obsolete or your 1080p monitor. It all depends on what you're trying to do and what tools you're using to create your content. Second of all, is Apple the only person or the only company to create a 5K screen? No, Dell has one. It's not yet available. That link will be in the description as well. 3. Delivering your content. If you're shooting 4K, you have a 4K monitor, does it really matter? Do I really need a 4K monitor? Because my people or my consumers are watching, or the consumers watching on a 1080p screen, whether they're on their new Samsung device or they're on their television. No, it will not. The fact that you have a 5K screen at home and the people that are watching your content have 1080p, it doesn't make your screen useless, because you're not able to see pixel for pixel, or basically, rather than a zoomed out image, you're actually able to see what it is at its actual size if you get a screen at that resolution. So 1080p and using your 4K monitor to deliver 1080p content is not bad. It's a good thing. Would I buy the iMac 27-inch with the 5K display? Only if I have a use for it, and only if I'm delivering all my content is shot at 4K or better. Right now I'm using a 5D Mark II to record this video. At some point in the future, I expect to get the GH4, and I'm actually getting a 4K screen very soon, which I will be doing a review on that. But yeah, only way I would buy the iMac is if all my content was shot at 5K or 4K or better, and I need to make sure that the quality and sharpness is spot on. And the 5th thing, these announcements that are happening every day from different technology companies, where we hear about organic displays, 5K monitors, 4TB drives, those things are good. They can be exciting for some people, but I think we need to look at the bigger picture. I mean, think about it. It would have taken you 4 or 5 hard drives, a massive laptop with maybe a 2-hour battery or 1-hour battery, and a bunch of other tools to actually record a documentary. Now everything can be stored on 2 4TB drives, or 2 2TB drives that are the size of this. So it's changing, and it's giving you, the content creator, freedom. And so I want you to look at these announcements and not just get excited about the tools, but start thinking about ways that how you're going to use these tools to improve the lives of not just you as a creator, but the people who are actually watching. So I hope this video was helpful. If you like it, I'll create more stuff like this. Leave the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, this is Sewell signing out.